we've been asking for.
Gets out wide on the tip, and the pick by Taki. Touchdown!
Diving, Lamb, what a catch! He's got the touchdown.
Walker to throw, has time.
Samuel, yes sir, touchdown! There it is, the Colts have the ball!
Kick is on the way.
It's through, and the Colts win it! Why not? Mahomes to Kelsey, again to take the lead!
Down he goes, fifth Denver sack today. I'm talking about
Taking people with him across the goal line. Deshaun Watson.
That's where Herbert's looking. There's Mike Williams. Touchdown! To the yes! Oh, yes! Yes! Oh, yes!
Did I say yes?
Yes.
Chase Claypool with a diving grab for a touchdown. The Steelers are 10-0.
Welcome to Game Debut presented by Mercedes-Benz. You got the whole crew here. It is Sunday morning, Week 12. Andrew Hawkins, Cynthia Freeland, and Greg Rosenthal. We are getting things started with the Titans at Colts. Before we get to that, Cynthia, how are you doing this Sunday morning?
Well, I was doing great, and then this vent came on, and now it's even colder in here, so my 2 jackets are no longer enough. I think I need to bring mittens, maybe a hat. I mean, goodness, it's freezing, but all good other than that. How about you?
You know what? I love it. I got a hoodie on. Greg's got a hoodie. You've got 2 coats. Things are getting cold. It's that time of year in the NFL season. All right, starting off with the Titans at the Colts. The Colts are favored in this one by 3. We're getting right to picks here. I'm going with the Titans. And it's because of Derrick Henry, duh. But even if you look at the last game, the Colts had the number 1 defense, and Derrick Henry still looked like Derrick Henry. If it wasn't for 2 bad special teams plays, I am very confident that the Titans would have walked away with a W in that game. Cynthia, what do you got for me?
I have a 2-point Titans win. We're both picking the team that is not favored to win here. That's kind of amazing. I wonder what Greg will do. But ultimately in this one, if you have Jonathan Taylor playing, you need to sub him out because he's not going to be playing. Ryan Kelly, also the center, not going to be playing. I'm curious to see how this Titans pass defense adapts. Now, it's going to be an advantage for them that the center isn't playing. More pressure up the middle. Phillip Rivers, are you going to complete all the passes or no? Greg Rosenthal, what do you have in this game?
He's going to complete enough. I have the Colts winning by 2 points, 30-28. So I'm trying to thread that needle. Colts win. They're the only team keeping me afloat in this competition here. You all have been wrong on them for a few weeks. But I have to admit I'm a little worried because of the injuries and the COVID list. There's been so much COVID attention elsewhere. It's been under the radar that the Nico Autry and DeForest Buckner are out for this game on the defensive line, in addition to Jonathan Taylor, and then there's an injury to their center, Ryan Kelly. So the Colts are very banged up, but I think they find a way. They've helped me out all year. Cynthia, do you have some proper performances for us?
Oh my goodness, the lucky horseshoe not only worked for your picks of the Colts, but also to remember proper performances. Derrick Henry, despite having a big game and being very important, will have fewer than 92 rushing yards at the Colts. It's not a matter of him not being impactful. It's a matter of it's going to be fourth quarter Derrick Henry. Yes, we've seen monstrous numbers in the fourth quarter before, but in this game, I don't think they're going to need those monster numbers late. It'll be a nice 80 to 90 rushing yard day. The next, I already told you, Phillip Rivers will have fewer than 276 passing yards in this matchup.
Boo.
I'm not saying he's going to have a horrible game, but the 300 that he had last time, that's not sustainable given all of the injuries, all of the what the Titans know they have on the line for this one. But you know what's on the line for the next one? Cardinals at Patriots. It's Greg's hometown team. So, Greg, what do we got in this one?
I haven't been confident in this Patriots team all year. The Cardinals are favored by 2 in this game, and I think they will win. I have the Cardinals winning by 3 points. The Patriots offense, I actually think, has played well enough this year to win if they had a defense, but they don't have a defense. So what happens is they fall behind in games, and they're not really built to come back. They've had the ball 4 times at the end of games and have not been able to score the winning touchdown. There's my man, Cam Newton. I think he's playing well enough to get another contract next year as the Patriots quarterback, but I don't think he's going to win this game. Cynthia, what about you?
I, too, have a 3-point win for the Cardinals, 26-23, so almost the same as yours. I, too, believe Cam Newton has played well enough to get another contract, but I also want to bring up Budda Baker, who I promise to bring up his name as many times as possible because I love saying it. Budda Baker, one of my favorite, if not favorite, safeties in the league this season. And Hawk, are you going to make it all the way across Cardinals? Are we on meme alert? Yes or no?
We are on meme alert, Cynthia. You called it. I'm picking the Cardinals. You guys picked all the reasons why they're going to win, so I won't rehash that. I will say be on the lookout for the Stephon Gilmore, DeAndre Hopkins battle. That'll be a very exciting one. It'll be the best matchup we've seen since Jake Paul and Nate Robinson. All right, next up we got the Raiders at the Falcons.
Who's Nate? Come on. Neither one of them is Nate. Give me a break.
All right, we got the Raiders at the Falcons. Raiders are favored in this one by 3. I am going with the Raiders. I think the Raiders are a very good football team. I think they're a lot better than people give them credit for. They played the Kansas City Chiefs very tough last week, and even though they beat them the first time, I fully suspected the Kansas City Chiefs to get revenge in a big way. That was not the case. Raiders held their own. I think that continues this week with a W against Atlanta. What do you guys think?
I have a 1-point Raiders win, 29-28. There are a slew of injuries that I'm keeping track of. One of the biggest ones is Cleveland Ferrell. So that's going to be a big point of contention because there's no Todd Gurley, so you're going to want to play Brian Hill in fantasy. But I want to talk about the absolute tons of reasons that you need to be playing Josh Jacobs. He's going to have a monstrous game. In fact, I think he's my running back number 2 for the entire week. He makes a huge difference. He makes them get that nice edge so they don't have to be throwing late in the game. He keeps Derek Carr under control in terms of being able to have the good passes and not just all of the passes. So for me, Josh Jacobs is the difference maker in this one, but only by a teeny-weeny little margin. What do you have, Greg?
Wow. I have the Raiders winning by 4. I like that you said Cleveland Ferrell. He helped their run defense. It wasn't there last week. It's kind of a good test of if someone's a real football head. Like if you don't know much about football, you say Cleveland Ferrell. But Cynthia knows how to say the names. She knows what's going on. She does not know, though, the margin in this game. I'm sorry. I think the Raiders win this one comfortably. I like this offense a lot. I hope you think that's proper, Cynthia.
Woo! 2 for 2. Holy cow. I have to go play the lottery today. Woo! All right, Darren Waller is going to have more than 64 receiving yards in this matchup. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game, so that means Darren Waller, who is absolutely the key to this offense when it comes to the passing game, where he is, that dictates everything else. So more than 64 receiving yards here. And then, of course, on the other side of this high-scoring matchup, Matty Ice. He's going to have more than 281 passing yards in this matchup. Both defenses are targetable through the air. Matt Ryan knows this. Matt Ryan has Calvin Ridley. Keep an eye on Julio Jones. There are some injuries potentially going on here, so you want to see which one to target. Just wait on that one. But Matt Ryan, more than 281 passing yards. What do we have next?
Ooh, we have one of my favorite games of the day. Panthers, Vikings. Teddy Bridgewater and the Panthers are underdogs here by 3 points, but I have them winning straight up. And you might notice a trend all throughout the show. Hawk and Cynthia just picking the favorites, the same teams in each game. Well, you know what? You got to make some changes. I'm going to be texting both of you when Teddy Two Gloves pulls off this upset. I think these teams are really even, but one thing I like better about the Panthers, they're more aggressive offensively in terms of they're a pass-first team. Dalvin Cook's great. I still don't love all the running on early downs Minnesota does. I think the Panthers get the upset.
The only problem in this one is there's no Christian McCaffrey, so I have a 4-point win for Minnesota. I think it's going to be Kid Cuzzy's revenge tour. I think the interesting part on this game is how to look at the Minnesota defense. I'm curious to see. You're right. The risk it, the biscuit. They are susceptible to the pass. These young corners are definitely targetable. However, when you don't have Christian McCaffrey, you have a much less great opportunity. Look, Mike Davis is great, but he's no Christian McCaffrey. What do you have, Hawk? Twin? Best friend?
You know what? We are best friends. We are twins. We are one and the same. Two souls that belong on the same side of the fence. But I'm thinking about changing my pick here. I originally picked the Vikings, and I completely forgot. I forgot about the Teddy Bridgewater revenge game narrative.
Yeah.
And those are the kind of things that get me going with the upset. So I'm switching it officially before kickoff. This is an official switch.
Official
I'm
switch
going
alert.
with the Panthers. Official switch. I hate going against Cynthia. I hate being on the same side as Greg because I feel like I'm already going to lose. But it's official. I'm going with the Panthers. All right?
I do have a fantasy note here in case you need a fantasy tight end, which many people do, because, by the way, Mark Andrews just went on the COVID list, so if you need a replacement, Kyle Rudolph is a great option. Irv Smith Jr. is not playing in this game, and they do rely heavily on the tight ends in this Minnesota offense, so you want to slide in good old Kyle Rudolph. Our producer, Matt Tanton, likes this pick because he loves Notre Dame, even though he didn't go there.
I love it. Slide in Cal Rudolph. We're sliding to a break. We'll be right back on GDV.
Back on Game Day View, it's time for Drive to Excellence, presented by Mercedes-Benz. And folks, game on. A dogfight of a week has turned this race into a dead heat. Cynthia is now just a game clear of Hawk and just 4 clear of Greg. That was Drive to Excellence, presented by Mercedes-Benz.
That's right, Drive to Excellence. You know what? I spiced things up by changing my pick. Now we have a real, vested interest here of we got to see what happens. All right, so we got some more games to pick. We got Chiefs at the Bucs. The Chiefs are favored in this one by 3.5. I am going with the Chiefs, and I'm on the lookout to see if this Bucs defensive secondary can slow down this Chiefs passing attack, the receivers, because last week against the Rams, they did not do a very good job of it. Woods went off. Kupp went completely off, as Greg says, the most underrated player in the game. And yeah, I want to see if they can do better this week against Patrick Mahomes. I don't think they will. Cynthia, what do you got?
Seems like going from Goff to Patrick Mahomes is not the best recipe for getting right with your pass defense, just saying. But Tyreek Hill is going to be an absolute problem in this matchup for them. Just like you said, it's not a situation where their secondary has been really playing well. In fact, they've been playing worse and worse. And the fact that Tom Brady is unable to complete deep passes, those 20-plus air yard attempts, that makes the pass defense even more important, because those quick strikes on both offense and defense, they are game-changing, and that's a big problem. So they need to figure out how to stop Tyreek Hill. Good luck, because there's also that guy Travis Kelce to contend with if you try to lock up Hill. What do you have, Greg?
Yeah, I have the Chiefs winning as well, but I have them only winning by a couple points. I think the Bucs defense usually makes a few plays each week that gives their offense a chance to win. They force turnovers, they make big sacks, they get a few stops. It's Tom Brady I'm worried about. He needs to be more consistent. Bruce Arians needs to help him out a little bit more by setting up some, shorter routes, intermediate routes, just the things that he used to do so well. And hopefully in this week, I think the running game can help them out, because the Chiefs' run defense is not so great. I know that's a proper point, Cynthia. We're getting to proper performances next.
3 for 3? Uh-oh. We absolutely all need to go play the lottery right now. Patrick Mahomes will have more than 291 passing yards. Now, that number could go even higher if the guards for Tampa Bay are playing. What? I know they don't play with each other. But if the guards for Tampa Bay are playing, that means Tom Brady will have better opportunities to catch or to throw and catch passes, have those passes be caught, meaning Patrick Mahomes will have to throw for more. So more than 291 happens, and it especially happens if Brady gets healthier with his front line. Now, Mike Evans, though, this one's not so good. He's going to have fewer than 66 receiving yards in this matchup. Why? The Chiefs' pass defense is better than you might imagine. And in fact, they're one of the best. And if you look to see where Mike Evans lines up, he's going to have some problems. See, Badger, Honey. That's going to not be the greatest situation for him. So fewer than 66 receiving yards. What is next? I think it's some good Midwestern accents next. Yeah?
Oh, yeah. It's the oldest rivalry in football. They love telling us that. It's like tied all time. And you know what? I think this game is going to be better than people expect. The Packers are favored by 9.5 points. I have them winning by only 6. I think the Bears defense is the best defense that Aaron Rodgers has played. They've played really well all year. They're very sound. They don't give up big plays. They slowed him down a year ago. Mitchell Trubisky's back. Not sure if that helps too much, but between the defense, the special teams, and the divisional familiarity, I think this goes down to the end, and we have a good one on Sunday Night Football. What about you, Cynthia?
I have a 27-20, just one touchdown win for the Pack. Why? Because I think Aaron Rodgers does make a difference in this one. You're right, it is the best defense he's faced. However, flipping it over to the other side, if David Montgomery can get going and give them those nice rushing yards, then Mitchell Trubisky will have a much better chance of completing passes. Mitchell Trubisky has been under pressure just a ton. He's completed 0 touchdowns and 0 interceptions, which is positive, but only 3 yards per attempt when under pressure. The Packers are going to bring a ton of pressure,
Yikes.
so David Montgomery will be a big deal. Hawk?
Yeah, I've been hearing on the internet that the Bears are one of 2 teams in the NFL this week with no quarterbacks on the roster. So they will start I'm sorry, Tan, don't be mad at me. That one, I just had to throw that out there. I will say this, Mitch Trubisky is undefeated. So there is hope for Bears fans. While I am picking the Packers, if this guy continues to do what he does all season, he may get a win. Now, some of those games he didn't finish, but stats are stats. All right, moving on. We got the 49ers at the Rams. The Rams are favored in this one by 6.5 points. I am going with the Rams. I've said for the last month or so that I think the Rams are another sneaky good team, and not just sneaky good. I wouldn't be surprised if they end up in the Super Bowl at the end of the year because they are that balanced and they have that kind of foundation. And watching Jared Goff go toe-to-toe with Tom Brady last week solidified that for me. This is a very good team, and I think, they end up with the W, splitting in typical fashion with Kyle Shanahan and McVay. What do you got, Cynthia?
I got a 26-21 Rams win. However, this is one of those games that my gut is setting off little alarms about. Why? Because these divisional matchups are always kind of messy. And this is the toughest division in all of football. I think 3 teams are going to the playoffs from it. Just which order will they go in? Nobody knows yet. And if you think you do, good for you. You should go play the lottery then. The interesting part here is with Raheem Mostert being back, they do get one of their key playmakers in a key situation for Kyle Shanahan. He loves those running backs. That's the entire offense is predicated on the run game. So you're getting back Raheem Mostert, who they had the most belief in at the beginning of the season. That's a big difference maker. The run defense for the Rams does have some holes in it. So for me in this game, I have a 5-point win, but my gut is like, ooh, that could be one of those weird, interesting things that happens. What do you have, Greg?
Yeah, I have a very similar score, the Rams winning by 4. I'm with you because the 49ers dominated them earlier in the season. But you got Cooper Kupp on the Rams. Yeah, I made the point earlier. As Devontae Adams pointed out, the most underrated wide receiver in the league. Give this man some respect. And he might be going up against Richard Sherman this week, who is back on the field. And Deebo Samuel's maybe back. And Mostert makes a monster difference. But then when you look at the full 49ers roster, they also lose Brandon Ayuk. They have a bunch of COVID issues on their defensive line. So they get some players back and they lose other players. That's a problem for them. Let's move on to what I think's maybe the game of the day because it's so weird. The Saints are heading to Denver, and they're going to be playing a team with the Broncos that you've probably heard by now will be playing without a true quarterback. The Saints are now favored by 14.5 in this game, and yet I think that's not enough. I'm going Saints 30-10. I watched a game I remember forever on Christmas Eve of 2006. Now we're watching Kendall Hinton, didn't have many great throws at Wake Forest, but in that game, the Panthers played the Falcons. They didn't really have a quarterback. They played Wildcat the whole game. It was the true birth of the Wildcat in the NFL. And you know what? D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart played quarterback the whole game, and they won the game 10-3. So it's not impossible, Cynthia. What do you think?
It's not impossible. Most things aren't technically impossible, but I don't think this one's going to happen. I have a 15-point win in this one. Look, let's be honest. If you think you know anything about Kendall Hinton, you are a liar. I rewatched everything that he did. I do not. I watched it and I tracked it because I felt like, it's my job and I have to, and I'm a loser on Saturday nights. That's what I spend my time doing. He really only throws to the right side of the field, just so we're clear. Only the right side of the field at Wake Forest, and not very often deep and not very often outside the numbers. These are not great situations, probably why he transitioned to be a wide receiver towards the end of his Wake Forest career. Just saying, I'm not saying it's going to be bad. I'm just not saying that. Not saying it's going to be good either. So the interesting part here, 31-16, I'm interested to see kind of how the Saints defense responds to a bunch of, this is weird. This is a lot of adversity. So I think the great Saints defense, I think we're going to see how great they are at picking things up. Malcolm Jenkins, I'm going to be watching him. Huck, what do you have?
Yeah, I mean, the Wildcat could work, but I would say back in that example, Greg, it was like a surprise. Everyone knows what this team is going to do. The caveat I will put out there that I don't even know the guy's name that's
Kendall
playing quarterback
Hinton
for the Broncos.
Kendall
What's his name again?
Kendall Hinton.
Kendall Hinton. Let me write that down. Kendall Hinton has thrown a touchdown pass more recently than Taysom Hill. That is a crazy stat. That is legit. That is real. Now, I am picking the Saints, and it is must-see TV. I need to see what's going to happen here. But I will throw that out there. It's worth noting somewhere, right? All right, next up, we have the Ravens at the Steelers. The Steelers are favored in this one by 8.5. A lot of things going on here. A lot of players moving and maneuvering. Will they play? Will they not play? I am picking the Steelers just because overall, no matter how you move the pieces, the Steelers, to me, are a more sound football team. We know Lamar Jackson won't be in this game. That's a big part of their offense. And we know that this defense is very deep, and they're very versatile. So I'm going with the Steelers. I think they win comfortably. Cynthia, what do you got?
Yeah, 27-18 Steelers. This one is one where you're a fantasy nightmare. If you have any players in this game or either defense, just sub them out. If you absolutely have to, sure, consider Gus Edwards because he's probably the only running back that is going to be eligible to play. But please, for the love of God, don't bank on this happening. If you really like to have some risk in your life, sure, you can try to figure out for Tuesday, but just go get a different tight end. Go get a different running back, quarterbacks. Just don't do it to yourself. Just don't. What do you have, Greg?
Right. To be clear, I have the Saints the Steelers 27-13, but the NFL, when they announced this game's being moved to Tuesday, made it clear that it's not 100% going to be on Tuesday. And as the weekend's gone along, more Ravens have tested positive for COVID or been put on the list, including their pass rushers. Ben Roethlisberger is one of the only guys in this game that we know is fully healthy, and most of his weapons are. But even the Steelers have COVID issues, so it's very much up in the air. I'm really surprised, actually, that Robert Griffin III being the starter doesn't hurt the Ravens more in terms of being a bigger underdog. They were 4.5-point underdogs. Now they're 8.5. It's like, that's not enough for me. I am taking the Steelers. That's the games we'll dive into deeply, but let's look at the rest of the games from this Week 12 slate. I think we have a lot of agreement here. One note, Tua Tagovailoa will not be starting. It's Ryan Fitzpatrick. That doesn't change the model at all, does it? Dolphins, Jets, Cynthia?
No, it didn't change it. It was like 0.1 point different. Sometimes
Brian Flores could start quarterback, and I would still like the Dolphins.
Brian Flores was actually a really dirty defensive player. He was really good at defense when I was at Boston College. So, he was also very old but young. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was real old and young.
All right, we are heading to the break. There is Austin Eckler. I love the fact he's back in this matchup. Bills-Chargers should be a good one.
Not kidding. I thought it was Brian Hoyer for 2 seconds. I was like, Brian Hoyer?
The bald head trench coat combo.
We are taking a look at Josh Allen from Wyoming. Cynthia, I just found out you know the Wyoming fight song. Do you want to sing it on air?
Absolutely. Me. He's a highfalutin, rootin' tootin' son of a gun from old Wyoming. Yes, I'm always into sing. Let's go. Highfalutin.
I'm more impressed by the recall. That's amazing.
It's time for more or less. Are you guys ready? Where are your foam fingers?
Let's do it.
Okay, we're good. Okay. Let's start with Chiefs at Bucks. More or less than 56 total points in this matchup. Boom, 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 boom. What do you have? Which one of you wants to take this?
Two of the all-time greats
way.
here. I mean, I said it. It's the greatest quarterback of all time and Tom Brady in the same game. It's a line so good I'm using it twice this week. Give me a break.
I mean, yes, if you have that, you must use it twice. I think the Travis Kelce touchdown is going to happen, but I have 55 points, 29-26 in this matchup. Okay, next up, 49ers at Rams. More or less than 45 total points in this matchup.
I'm feeling more. McVay versus Shanahan, the offensive geniuses. They're going to be trying to best each other. Defense isn't what they're known for.
All right, I have 26-21 in this matchup. That's 47 points, which is more than 45. Game number 3. You ready? This one's different since we taped on Friday. So here we go. Cardinals at Patriots. More or less than 48 points. Anyone? More or less than it changed. Big change.
I'm going to go more. Both these defenses are a little worse than you think. The Patriots defense is straight up bad, and the Cardinals defense, I don't trust them. Most of their good games are against really bad quarterbacks.
Yeah, so I have 49 here. It went down to 48. I have 49. That's why we have this change here. Here it is. All right, great. Next game, Raiders at Falcons. I already told you more or less than 55 total points in this one.
I'm going less.
What?
I'm going less. I'm thinking the Raiders heavy run and the Falcons don't get going.
Okay. What do you have there, Greg? 54 is now.
I'm going more.
And you're going more?
And
yeah,
me too. Once again, this whole segment is anti-colorblind. I can't tell if y'all have green or red up. It all looks the same to me in my computer.
Christmas must be awful for you. I'm very sorry because it makes the rest of us
It's a tough time
happy.
of year.
Yeah, for sure. I have 27 points by halftime, so we're going to go more than 54 in that one. Okay.
Wow.
Last one, Browns at Jaguars. More or less than 49 points in this matchup. More or less than 49. Either one of you, what do you want to say?
I'm biased. Cleveland Browns. I'm just going to say more just because they're in it. All right?
That's
They finally get a normal weather game. Yeah, they finally can play without like a rain windstorm. Still, though, I don't know if they're going to do it. They're pretty banged up right now, both of these teams.
Yes, they are very banged up. I have a lot of running in both of these games. I have less. I have 47 points. And by the way, more or less game day view? No?
I'm going to go with less. I'm just going to turn my green upside down because
more this season.
Greg doesn't know the difference.
More this season.
I want more.
Always more game day view, just not today. That does it for us today. We will be back next week, Friday, same time as always. Enjoy this week's slate of games, everybody. Peace.